Now since the last time I did a challenge went pretty well, and since a lot of people liked it, I decided to do another one, yet again. Shortly after the NYCSA video, I did a poll asking whether you guys wanted to see me drive a bus blind in Vamoose, or walk all lines in Rock Dove City. The results were an absolute blowout. Rock Dove City won by quite a lot, I say. Due to the way Rock Dove City works, I kinda had to switch the rules up from last time. Last time I had to walk on the oncoming side of the tracks as a challenge to dodge trains, but this time, because the trains come so frequently, I'm gonna be walking on the correct side of the tracks. But there's a catch to that. I'm going to crank my audio down to 2% so I cannot hear the trains coming in time. Or at least I can hear them coming just enough to dodge them in time. Another rule that I implemented is that I cannot use the sprint key. Since this game does have a special sprint feature unlike NYCSA, that means you can move a lot faster through the lines than normal. However, the name of this challenge is to walk all lines in Rock Dove City, not do a Usain Bolt Olympic style sprint through Rock Dove City. And that's about it for the rules. Also, special thanks to this wonderful human being right here for planning out my route. The challenge began in Promontory on the F line, going southbound. Now, the new rules of the challenge did kinda nerve-wrack me a bit, but honestly, it wasn't really too bad. Just make sure to look back every once in a while, I'd say every 10-15 seconds, to make sure there isn't a train coming. However, with these new rules, there are some problems with this, which would become apparent very much later. I safely passed through Financial District and Academy, making my way onwards to the Electrical Island. Safely passing through Electrical Island on my way to Trinity Park. The section of tunnel between Electrical Island and Trinity Park are for some reason very Now, as you can see, I got brutally murdered by a train on my way to Trinity Park. But it's the model of train I need to talk about real quick. This is the JT-18. The JT-18 is one of the subway trains that run throughout several, or actually 2 lines in Rock Dove City. The F, U, and A lines. Despite them being all slightly different from each other, they all have one thing in common. They are stupidly silent for whatever gosh darn reason. So if one is coming up behind me, I'll just die or just have to hope and pray one of these things aren't actually coming up behind me. So, time to reset. After that upsetting loss, I made it to Trinity Park and over the bridge. Low-key, that bridge is actually kinda scary because I was on my heels going over that entire thing. The elevator that came after was also pretty spooky to do because it was pitch black at night and I cannot really see the ground. I don't know if the ground has collision because most games do not include collision, and I have to dodge trains behind me and look, and look, and look constantly. Not to mention, I also had to pray to God that no JT-18s decided that it was just my time to die for no reason. Thankfully, none of that ever managed to happen, and I safely made it to the final stop of the F line, on the southbound side of the airport. To be quite frank with all ya, the B line was actually pretty easy to do. The line itself is very open and scenic, meaning that you can see the trains from like 40-49 miles away. The trains are also decently loud, which means you can also hear them from 40-49 miles away. Literally everything that could have gone right did go right with this route. Well, except till this happened.
Hey,
What's your opinion on the B train?
Hey, you. You're finally awake.
I safely made it past one stop and onto the final stop without incident. The single track section got a little bit scary, but I managed to make it through without incident, thankfully. And that's it for the B line. Walking the J line wasn't really anything special. It wasn't hard, but it wasn't easy either. In fact, this line was actually way more scary than hard, meaning that this route felt more like playing Five Nights at Freddy's 4, but with trains. While I walked the line, this poor guy in a Nova got murdered by a train. 2 of them, by the way. Anyways, after that little debacle, I safely made it through 31st Street, Gray Street, 21st Street, up to 16th Street. I then did the sharp turn to the west to make it to the last stop being 7th Avenue Jennings. Now, if you're a bumbling idiot buffoon like I am and want to do this challenge, please do not get too comfortable, because look what happened right here. If I had been any later on that spacebar, I would have been dead right there. But thankfully I stopped zoning out and came right back to my senses and jumped out of the way of the train. And that is the J line completed. The existence of the A line is actually the reason why I changed the rules for this challenge. The A line is seemingly the most active line with the most amount of trains and the lowest headways. Combine all of these ingredients together and you get a really dangerous line that you cannot close your eyes for. Not to mention, the main fleet is JT-18, so if I do not lock the heck in on this line, I'm not just cooked, I'm deep fried. Exactly what happened to my pal in this clip. Rest in peace, bro. So long as you pay attention, the A-line is actually pretty easy. I actually made it through the whole thing first try without a death. Is what I would be saying if that actually was my first try. So I tried looking for the footage of the first attempt, but I couldn't, because I forgot to record. But if my memory is correct, I can tell you that I died right before the curve on Electric Island Station. By the way, I died to one of those JT-18s. Which means that train has a body count of 2 now. Despite that little mishap, I did thankfully manage to get the A-line done. Now on to the next line. I really do not have much to say about the Y-line. You know, typical train dodge, bumbo jumbo, you know the deal. One thing I can say about the Y-line is that it really does serve as a good piece of material for analog horror. I can't be the only one just thinking this, right? Like, just look. Anyways, yeah, survived the whole line, made it to Financial District, and that's that. I gotta say, the U-Bahn in the game is pretty weird. The end stations on the line are not stubs, but rather they continue on in a loop, like a trolley almost. I really had to keep my guard high and wide while on the loop, because a train could just come on the blind side of the curve and just kill me whenever it wanted to. Plus, if you remember what I said earlier, I cannot really hear the trains either because I have to lower my volume to 2% to make the challenge harder. That was one of the rules. This exact scenario did happen as a train snuck up on me from behind, but luckily I managed to dodge it in time. Seriously, if you're gonna do this challenge, please look back all the time. Other than those little scary parts, the rest of the line was actually pretty chill and easy. Minus a guy being 12-9 into the 5th dimension right in front of me. And that completes the U-Bahn of Rock Dove City. Now since the E is a manually driven line, I asked upon my friends to drive the train. And I told them to drive the train like they really wanted me dead. And welp, they kept to that word. Yes, I died probably maybe 40 times trying to do this line. Here's a little compilation of all that. It only took me an hour and a half to finally get a successful run without a death. My god, that was just brutal. Oh yeah, don't forget the M as well. They wanted me dead on that one too. So let's add that to the compilation. This short 2-stop shuttle took me 20 minutes to do, which I could not even fathom before doing this challenge. Man, I'm so sick of this. I'm so done with this challenge. I'm never doing this ever again. In conclusion, yes, it is possible to walk the entirety of Rock Dove City without dying, well, except for one line. If you have psychopathic friends, then doing the manual lines definitely will not be a fun experience for you. Don't even try. Overall, walking this game wasn't really that hard, more so tedious. The type of tedious that makes you want to rip your hair out and flip your desk over. That's all I really gotta say. I'm too tired for this. It's like 7 AM in the morning.